Workers walk into HR thinking it's a help desk, and sometimes it is for small stuff. But the second your situation smells like conflict, HR's job is to protect the company first. That's the whole game. So the words you choose in that room matter a lot more than people realize. Here are 3 things you should never say to HR if you're trying to protect your job, your reputation, and your options later. And the third one feels like it should give you power. It doesn't. It hands them a head start. First thing to never say to HR: I'm stressed, I'm anxious, I'm burned out. I get why people say it. You're overloaded, you're drowning, and you're hoping somebody will step in and fix the workload or rein in your manager. But here's the problem. Those words can get translated into something you didn't mean. What you're saying is, I'm overwhelmed. What they may document is, employee says they can't handle the job. And once something like that is written down, it becomes a convenient explanation later if they decide to manage you out, pass you over, or fire you. Not because they're evil villains, but because paperwork is how companies protect themselves. It's the shield they hold up when things get messy. Also, stress and burnout are real human experiences, but they're vague in a workplace conversation. They don't automatically trigger any formal process, and they don't force anyone to help you. They can just become a note that you're struggling. So what should you say instead? Keep it specific and work-focused. Try something like, I'm at capacity and my workload isn't sustainable at the current priorities. Can we clarify what's most urgent and what can be moved? Or, I want to do this well, but I need help prioritizing. Which tasks should come first and which can be delayed? If there's a real medical issue and you're actually seeking accommodations, don't hint at it with vague feelings. Be direct without oversharing. I have a medical issue that's affecting me and I need to discuss workplace accommodations. That sentence is clean, serious, and it frames the conversation the right way. You're not confessing weakness. You're making a formal request. Second thing to never say to HR: this isn't fair. That line comes out when you're frustrated, and honestly, half the time you're right. A lot of workplaces are unfair. Promotions, schedules, discipline, favoritism, weird double standards, managers playing petty games. It's a whole circus sometimes. But unfair is not the same as illegal, and HR hears those as 2 totally different categories. When you say, this isn't fair, it often lands like, employee is upset, no policy violation identified. In other words, it becomes easy to dismiss. If you want HR to take something seriously, you have to speak their language, not in a dramatic way, just in a precise way. Instead of, this isn't fair, try, I'm being treated differently than others in the same role, and I'd like to understand the reason and have it documented. Or if the issue is truly tied to something protected, you name the specific thing calmly. I believe I'm being treated differently because of my age. Or, I believe this started after I raised a concern about harassment, discrimination. Don't make stuff up. Don't toss accusations like confetti. But if you genuinely believe there's a protected issue, you have to say it plainly. Otherwise, you're basically filing a complaint with no category, and it gets treated like a vent session. Third thing to never say to HR: I'm going to sue. This is the one people love because it feels like a big red button, like, now they'll take me seriously. But in real life, it usually does the opposite. The moment you threaten legal action, you change the situation from employee complaint to risk event. And once you're a risk event, the company shifts into defense mode. Meetings get shorter, conversations get tighter, notes get cleaner, people get looped in who you'll never see. Your work gets watched more closely. Old mistakes suddenly matter. Every tiny policy detail becomes a new obsession. And here's the part nobody thinks about when they're angry. You just gave them time. Time to prepare, time to document, time to build a story about why you're the problem, time to get their ducks in a row. So what do you do instead? You don't announce it, you don't threaten it, you don't hint. You get quiet and you get organized. Write down what happened with dates and times. Save emails or messages that matter. Keep things factual. Keep it clean. If you need advice, you get it privately, not as a threat, as a plan. Because the strongest move isn't yelling lawsuit in a meeting. The strongest move is not giving away your next step until you're ready to take it. One more thing that will save you a lot of pain. Treat every HR conversation like it's being documented, because it is. Even if they're nice, even if they seem sympathetic, even if they're nodding along. Your words can be summarized later in a way you wouldn't recognize, especially if the company needs a neat explanation for why they did what they did. So go in calm. Go in specific, say less than you want to say, and only say things you'd be comfortable seeing written down in a formal note. Quick recap. Don't walk into HR and say, I'm stressed or I'm burned out. Talk capacity and priorities or make a formal accommodation request if needed. Don't say, this isn't fair. Say what's happening, ask for documentation, and be specific about the issue. And never say, I'm going to sue. If you're going to take action, don't give free warnings. If you liked this video, hit like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.